have to make it close. Okay,
Yes.
we'll be up close and intimate here. What an amazing crowd. I'm sorry I missed the early part of what happened here. My name is Gayle Timberlake. I am the CEO for GTC Executive Life Coaching and also the founder of Simca Foundation, and we are the world's up-and-coming biblical grassroots organization for Christians to learn about the biblical calendar. How many of you know that that's important, especially because we've just finished the 3 weeks? I feel like I'm really loud here. Are you able to hear me okay? Okay, then I am even up more close and intimate with you. So so here we are, a little bit about my background. That wasn't me. That was Albert. So I've been a former Capitol Hill advocate and a permanent UN representative, a university professor and seminary professor, and I've seen the world's systems pull us from biblical truth, and I'm here to help lead us back. Are you ready to reclaim some of your biblical heritage with me? Say yes. Good. So the question I have to pose to you is, why are we letting the world's chaos drown out the rhythm of God's design for his early church? You feel that tension in your faith when I ask the question? Well, we're igniting a fire to reclaim our extravagant heritage that's been stolen. And there is a sense of justice in there, because for far too long, modern timekeeping has stripped the early church's customs, leaving us chasing society's clock instead of God's rhythm. I see some kippas in here, and I know that the Jewish community is represented. I am often among modern Orthodox Jews. I am in synagogues a lot. And the topic that I'm going to talk about is really your coffee break time, because this is something that you know, but is new to many of us. And if it's not new to you here, give me a raise of hands if your friends and family are unfamiliar with the biblical calendar. There you go. And that's who we're going after. I'm preaching to the choir here, but we have a revolution to start, and I want to start with you. Would that be okay? Okay, so let's talk about the first century church. It thrived in harmony with the traditions that were connected to the way that the Father set things up, and it connected them to the Father's heart. And it's time that we revive, really, it's a birthright that is ours as adopted kids into the big family of Jesus that's connected to and is the very faith that has been around for a long, long time. Granted, we're little kids. So like little kids, we're often running around in the kitchen barefoot and not really knowing what we're doing, touching all the wrong things and punching the wrong buttons. But I believe that the awareness of it is where we start. So why have we accepted, based on that, the corrupt vision that was set in place by Constantine? I may step on some toes here. His laws persecuted Jews and Christians, those with biblical roots, and replaced real theology with Greek philosophy. And he erased Hebrew heritage, adopted pagan symbols, and distorted Christianity's foundations. His anti-Jewish edicts impacted 90% of the early Christian communities in the Roman Empire. He enforced Roman customs and banned biblical practices and fueled centuries of anti-Semitism. Just last week, you may have heard about the synagogue that was set aflame with 20 inside of it. Where was that? What city was that? Do you recall? I believe it was in Australia, and I believe it was Melbourne. Anti-Semitism, as we all know, is rampant. And while Constantine did intentionally sell out our future, we don't have to settle with the consequences. Say yes to that if you're ready to draw a line in the sand. Yeah, so what's the real cost of what I'm talking about? I would say, let's look at our youth. I mentioned that I was a university professor, seminary professor, and I've talked to a lot of college students. Here's some studies that I think that are important for you to know. that will bring to mind the question, why are we watching Gen Z and millennials drowned in confusion? Studies show that 52% of Gen Zs in Christian homes lack clarity of faith-driven purpose, and 80% doubt their faith will leave a legacy. 80% of Christians doubt that their faith will leave a legacy. That means their children and their children and their children. Who else is going to leave a legacy of biblical thinking? We have Judaism, we have Christianity, and that's it. The rest of the population is not going to do that. When we let chaos replace God's rhythm, our kids lose their anchor. And you've seen this probably in your own families, and it's time to act now. It's time to reject this broken status quo. I was in an Uber yesterday, and my Uber driver, I found out, is from Ethiopia, and so he comes from a long line of Ethiopian believers. And I was talking to him, and we got to this subject of faith, and he said, without even taking a breath, he said, "We believe in Jesus. We're ready to die for Jesus." I thought, how many Americans would say that? That's really foreign to our thinking, isn't it? He recalled the Egyptians who were in Libya. Remember those that were killed, 23 that were killed in Egypt? That sentence came so quickly from his mouth. We're living in a time of courage. You know that this is the month of Av, if you've been talking about 3 weeks. And the 3 weeks lead up to and come into the month of Av. The month of Av is a time of intimacy with the Father, we teach at Simcha Foundation, my organization. But it's also a time of courage. It's a time of stepping out. Remember, all 12 of the spies that went in, they saw the same thing, didn't they? No, none of them came back with, "We didn't experience that." They all said, "This is what we saw." And what they saw was both good and bad. The good part is that they came back and said, "This is a land flourishing." The other part that they came back is about the Nephilim, the giants. When they arrived back, the story that pervaded and overtook the generation was the story about the giants. It took courage to say, there were giants, but that's not going to that's not going to stop us. And I believe we are living in a time this month, in the month of Av, where we get to say, we're courageous, we're going to step out, we're going to say something different from the crowd, we're going to believe in what God said, we're not going to let what has happened before influence us. So I believe this is a time to reject the status quo, because why should we settle for a world that steals our peace when God offers restoration? So I refuse to accept the fake version that we got from Constantine. I want the real stuff. How about you? So we're on a rescue mission, and I want you to join us. And the rescue mission is literally to revive the birthright given to the first century Christians. Reject busyness over purposefulness and courage. So let's reclaim what's ours. So just picture this. In this month, when the spies returned from Canaan, which is not Palestine, they were carrying grapes, weren't they? Those grapes, muscat grapes, they're really good grapes. They taste like flowers. And they were carrying those despite the fact that they felt like they were bugs getting ready to get squished by giants. They said the land is exceedingly good. Av is a call for us to cast off fear and empower us to live in the courage that God's given us. So we face a crisis today. It's a crisis of courage. Aristotle said that courage is the ultimate virtue, and without it, there are no other virtues that stand. In this month of Av, the 3 weeks after the 3 weeks between the straits, ending with the temple falling twice, just yesterday we recalled that. I believe it's time for us to get back on board with the calendar and the rhythms of heaven that are ours. I've put a QR code up here that you can see. My organization has created a calendar that makes it very easy for Christians who know nothing about the biblical schedule of heaven, the rhythms that keep us in pace with what God's doing on the earth, that you can purchase, get on the wait list, and give away. And that's what I encourage you to do, is give them away. If we had them here, I would give them away to you. We give away a lot of these because that's what we're all about, is getting Christians back on board. Why wait for transformation when it's just a yes for today? It's really just a yes for us. So I want to encourage you to put that flame back in your own faith. You know, I often think that it's like going to the most extravagant gala that you've ever seen and seeing across the back room just all the decadent hors d'oeuvres and beautiful food arrangements that are available. As Christians, it's almost as if we go up and get the Philadelphia cream cheese and the Ritz crackers. There's more. There's a lot more. And it's all ours because we were chosen to be adopted into a family of a very rich heritage. And that inheritance is ours. So why would we walk past it like a treasure chest full of jewels and gems? It's time to go back to that treasure chest full of treasures and gems and recapture it for our own. So I want to leave you with that encouragement today, leave you with courage. And I applaud this event and Albert, and let's give him a big hand.